Staying with housing, many experts say that tight credit standards and limited wage gains are weighing on demand in the United States. But our next guest says there is another culprit, a growing mismatch between the housing that's available and what consumers really want. Jeff Taylor is the co-founder of Digital Risk, and he joins us now from New York. Jeff, great to have you with us today. Thanks for joining us. And
thank you for having me.
I'd love to first share the perspective that you have in terms of what your business actually does, and almost in the sense that, you know, the reach and scope that you have into the housing market in the United States. Let's start with that.
Thank you very much. Well, Digital Risk is the largest loan processor in the country for the mortgage origination market. So we process, underwrite, and close loans for large money center banks. On the other side of the business, we also are the largest quality control firm for investors who buy loans. So really, when you put those two together, we really have sort of a total 360 view of the housing market. And I think to one of your points we've been hearing about today is, yeah, the Case-Shiller index is down 0.5% July, which is a significant drop month over month for the last 3 years. Yet new housing sales are up 18%. So what this tells us is there's a mismatch in the housing market right now. In the rural areas right now, where the jobs are, they want to live, you're seeing significant growth. In more of the middle country, some of the suburban areas, that growth has sort of cooled down a little bit. Those prices have stabilized. So it's again, we're seeing an overall, I think, flattening of housing prices right now. But again, in the big markets, the Miamis, the San Franciscos, the New Yorks, the Dallas, sort of those urban areas right now where the jobs are, we're seeing new house sales and house prices continuing to rise.
You know, Jeff, it's interesting, almost from what I'm hearing from you. And I remember, you know, having worked as an analyst in equity research in the United States and following housing very, very closely. We were always looking at the existing home sales because they were, in fact, much more representative of what the housing market actually looked like because it was a much larger number versus the new home sales. Is what you're telling us today is that we've almost got to reverse that thinking?
You know, you almost have to do it because think about it. The new home sales, who's going to be buying those new homes? That's that millennial group that we hope that's been slow to come back to the market. That's at 25 to 35. Where are they going? They're going where the jobs are. Where are the builders building? They're building those areas where the land's going to be hot and they know that people are going to rent or they're going to buy in. So really, that's more traditional. Literally, this age group, as millennials, are moving more into the urban areas simply because it's where the jobs are. They have a better chance of being able to walk down the street, find restaurants, etc. So I think it is a shift from it. Definitely what my parents did was when the first time they made enough to buy their first home, they pulled a little bit away out of the city of Miami with a thought for a better quality of life and a bigger house.
So Jeff, you're calling this almost an urbanation, that people are wanting to be really more in the center of cities. What do those developments look like today?
A lot of them are condominiums, and I think you've seen it. You know, if you go down to Miami, you can't drive 10 miles without seeing 15, 20 cranes. Washington, D.C., San Francisco, you see these big cranes going back up, and they're building high-rises. So these are places that are combinations of condos, rental apartments, more grocery stores, more retail stores. They're kind of the all-in-one type buildings that really didn't exist that much 15, 20 years ago. But that's what's really kind of going up right now and giving a central location that kind of meets the needs of the people wanting to move into those areas from A to Z.
You know, Jeff, we're definitely seeing that in Toronto. I don't know if you've been here lately, but we certainly have a lot of cranes, but almost these cities within a city that continue to be developed and exist. I understand that you're not an investment advisor of sorts, but do those look like they will be good investments?
Well, you know, it's funny. They're definitely, as we've seen the last couple of years, there have been big investments put into these condos and these types of new complexes. I think those are going to be good investments down the long run, in the long term, but, you know, from whether it's going to be rise in 24 to 36 months, I don't know. But I think those areas right now, and again, it comes down to jobs and where people want to live, are going to be good investments in the long term.
All right, Jeff, we probably have to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us. Great to get your views today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. That was Jeff Taylor, co-founder of Digital Risk, and he did join us from New York.